Hey guys, this is Fang Sasha VA here, coming at you with a new video, and in today's random video, because like I said to people, um, unfortunately for right now, until I'm able to have a laptop or be able to be on some sort of computer, I have to make Wednesdays something else than a gameplay video day. So, and in today's video, I want to discuss something that kind of rubs me the wrong way as a Sonic fan. So this is a bit more of a real talk type video. Um, I've been wanting to do this type of video for a while, and so before I announce what we're doing here, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that bell button. And let's get started here. Have you ever noticed that when you go onto like a gaming site, you know, may it be IGN, Nintendo Life, whatever it may be, have you guys ever noticed that anytime there's a new Sonic game coming out, and if a Sonic game a certain amount of scores, people are always like, oh yeah, I mean, of course, but you know, Sonic fans are going to be so lenient. You want to know how much that drives me up a wall? Quite a bit. Because what they're pretty much saying is that we can't criticize Sonic at all, which is actually not true, because Sonic fans complained about Sonic Forces. Sonic fans complained about Sonic Frontiers when when it first got revealed. Sonic fans complained about Sonic Origins, and Sonic fans complained about Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, with the whole Sonic Forces thing, and I saw some people say like how, well, you know, people were still being too lenient, was still being too lenient with that game, despite the fact that you know, it's clearly not a good game. And I just can't help but to sit there and be like, how dare you sit there in your computer chair and criticize Sonic fans for actually being happy with the game. You gotta remember, Sonic fans are notoriously opinionated. It's because we all want what's best for our favorite blue. The problem is that sometimes there's of us that is a bit too overly passionate, and when we don't get what we want, we tend to, well, complain. My problem with that statement is that when Sonic Forces was first revealed, I mean, everybody probably remembers this. A lot of Sonic fans were not happy. I mean, of course, you're going to have the people that were. You know, that's going to happen. But it's okay for people actually look forward to a game when it first gets revealed, even if their opinion might be maybe the unpopular one. And I think that's a big thing here, is that I feel like nowadays gamers as a whole are way too critical. And they are way too judgmental towards other gamers if they like something that they don't. And I feel that's not just a gamer thing, that's just how humans are nowadays. We are very critical towards others that don't share our views. We are very judgmental too. And that's why I've been advocating to have free to come back. Because it's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to have different interests. And like, a good, like, another example I can use for this is that I'm in some horror groups on Facebook. One of them being this Friday the 13th group, and let me tell you, if you like a movie that people hate in there, like Part 5, you're gonna be ripped to shreds. There's so much toxicity that runs in that group. It is unreal. And there's even someone that is notoriously known to diss Friday the 13th Part 6 because of the whole zombie Jason and all that. And like, he would even start his whole Facebook post by saying like, I'm sure that we can all agree, and then it turns out no one agrees with him. And the sad thing is, he can't argue. He cannot debate worth a crap. And that's another thing too that's happening nowadays, is that when someone says that, if this thing sucks, and people say, well, why does it suck? Well, that person that said that particular thing sucks then starts getting defensive. And then they get angry, and then they, get a little nasty. Like Sonic Frontiers, I say Sonic Forces with the whole review. I meant Sonic Frontiers. My apologies. I've had a long day. I had music therapy. I didn't get that much sleep on the night that I'm recording this. I had music therapy today, and then I had to go help my parents with carrying out some stuff outside because so yeah, I was very busy, so I want to apologize. But yeah, when Sonic Frontiers was first revealed, I'm sure everyone has noticed this. Well, I'm sure everyone noticed this. People were ripping that game to shreds. You had people like Moist Critical saying that it doesn't look good. Then what happened was, over time, people's opinions started to change because you had gameplay that actually showed off how a Sonic game should be played. Now, again, there were still people that were still being sick, or people that were still not impressed. But all of a sudden, though, you start seeing to where the people that was hyped from the beginning, when Sonic Frontiers was announced, was now the popular opinion than what it was back then, where it was a bit of a unpopular opinion if you were hyped for that game day one. And then now it's like, now Sonic, Frontiers is like either, I believe they said it's the best selling 3D Sonic game, or maybe one of the best selling ones. And now let's turn, let's turn this coin to the other side here of that same year, when Sonic Origins is very notorious for being disliked by the Sonic community because of the shoddy, the fact that these games should not have glitches, especially Genesis games. The fact that they had to change some music because of copyright with the Michael Jackson estate. And even now, like I've been playing Sonic Origins Plus on my Switch, and I've been trying to play Labyrinth Zone as Tails, and the first jump you do, my freaking game crashes. And they haven't even announced if they plan on patching that or not. And that's another thing that rubs people the wrong way about Sega, is that when they do these ports, they might update it from, until they feel like it is. Let's just say that they don't fix everything. Because I do know with Sonic Colors Ultimate, there's a lot of people that feel like they shouldn't have dropped support for that game because it still updates. Now, for me, I didn't run into any major glitches, but I'm not going to sit here and say that those problems don't exist for other people, because they probably do. I'm going by my own experience. You know, and it's like, you know, like I said in that one video I did where I compilation apart, I still think that Sonic Mega Collection is still the best way to play those classic Sonic games on a console. If it's PC, I say just download the freaking fan versions. You know, the fan ports that they did. Just do that. You'll have a better experience anyways. And like, another thing too is that Sonic Forces. That game is still despised in this fandom. And even though that I'm not someone that full on hates it, I definitely don't like how linear it is. I think that the story, while being a step in the right direction, mind you, because I liked how Knuckles wasn't a full on idiot. Sonic Forces was the game that kind of broke the camel's back for a lot of people, especially when you had Sonic Mania that came out the same year and it was super successful. And that's where this problem is that Sonic fans can complain, they can critique things. You see it all the time on YouTube. You see it all the time on social media. But when I see these people, especially on this website, and let me repeat myself if I cut out, and you know, especially on this Nintendo-based website, I can't help but to think. Like, okay, going by that logic, then why are you guys too lenient on Mario? Why don't you guys actually critique a Mario game for once, and actually find problems in it that you don't like, instead of sitting there and complain about us? Instead of, you know, mind my French, but basically kissing Nintendo's ass. Now, is that a petty response? Yeah, it is. But I can't help but to think that it's like, well, it's very easy for me to criticize Mario games. I mean, look at the new Super Mario Bros. Series. You know what? That's a perfect example. That's a example. The new Super Mario Brothers series is criticized, but yet it's not as criticized as harshly as Sonic is. Why is that? Because it's Mario. Mario will always get 9s and 10s on review score. Why? Because unfortunately, Nintendo knows Nintendo knows how to make good games. Like I said, what I said was a very petty response, but there is some basis in truth to that. It's like they don't criticize Mario. I never see anyone nitpick anything in a Mario game ever. But yeah, with Sonic, People sure love to. Why? Because the fact of the matter is, you know, again, not to sound petty, but it's like, well, why don't we criticize Sonic? You know, a lot of people do it, so I guess it's cool. Even when Sonic has success, there's always people say, there's always that but. There's always that but. People can never fully just give Sega kudos at all. They can never do it. But yeah, what's funny is though, when it comes to other Sega properties, a lot of people will gladly kiss the Yakuza series and the Persona series butts. But yet, people won't actually give a bone to Sonic Team when they actually do something right. Now, let me remind you here, okay? I don't always agree with every game that Sega does. Like I said, Sonic Origins was something I was hyped for, and it disappointed me. Was it a fun experience at launch? Of course it was. Especially since I have the 8-bit 16-button wireless Sega Genesis controller, and I was able to use it on my Switch. I mean, you can't get more old school than that. The fact of the matter is this: Sonic Frontiers was a success. Sonic Frontiers, to the majority of gamers and Sonic fans, is a good game. It has its flaws, but it's a good game. It's a step in the right direction. Sonic Superstars is a game that also is getting some good to decent review scores. But even then, that's still a success. The Sonic movies are super successful. The IDW comics are super successful. Sonic Prime is also, I think, is doing well. I haven't been caught up with the whole, like, actually no. Sonic Prime is successful because people have been giving it positive reviews. Sonic is doing very well right now, and yes, they have. So what? With social media, we are able to voice our opinions. And guess what? A lot of those ideas that made it in those updates is because of fans. A fan asked for if they're going to include in instrumental versions of the vocal tracks from Sonic Frontiers on a possible, album for the final update, and they did. Someone wanted the spin dash back. They got it back. They put the freaking spin dash, one of Sonic's most iconic moves. And in recent years, for some reason, only classic Sonic had it. Mario Kishimoto. That was one of the most funnest things about being a Sonic fan during this past year with Sonic Frontiers. Seeing how passionate the fan base was, asking Mario Kishimoto about ideas for future games. Or like saying how and the transparency and the fact that, some of the ideas that the fans gave ended up in the updates. That is cool. And that is the one thing I will always respect Sega for, no matter if they have some blunders. It's the fact that they are fan friendly. Instead of DMCAing fan games, they want people to make Sonic fan games, especially to get better at video game development, to hone their craft, as they say. Nintendo, which this is the one and the only things people will ever criticize them for, as soon as there is a fan game, they immediately DMCA it. Because for some certain reason they think is a threat to their business, and it's not. In my opinion, and if anyone from Nintendo is watching this, you all would probably make a lot more money if you guys take some of these fan games and make it into official Nintendo products with the fans along for the ride to help out. Kind of like Sonic Mania, to where you had all these people from the Sonic fan game, from the Sonic fan creation community to come together, and they made one of the best Sonic games of recent years. Yes, they had some Sonic team members helping them, probably to keep the glue, to keep the foundation strong. But still, it was still people that was a part of the Sonic fandom. Which is why, now, is my frustration with Nintendo as bad as my frustration? No. Nintendo still does a lot of good. I respect them a lot. But I've also gotten tired of the double standards when it comes to their fans. In my opinion, even if you're not a Sonic fan, or you still, even if you still think that Sonic hasn't been good since this period of time, don't be a jerk to others just because they are enjoying Sonic Frontiers. And no, Sonic Frontiers is not a lazy game. So what, you're gonna go by review scores from a freaking biased company? I mean, yes, they gave Superstars a good review score, but you still had people that was like, well, actually, that review score doesn't seem right. Why? Because, of course, people can never give kudos to Sega when it comes to Sonic, when they do something right. The fact of the matter is, and I will say this until I'm red in the face, well, blue in the face, I forgot how the term goes. Us humans need to stop forming our opinions by a number. By a number and word of mouth. People should always judge things by their own opinion. It's okay to dislike a good game and a popular game, and it's also okay to like and adore a bad game, while still acknowledging the fact that this game that you're playing is bad. But the thing is too, even though that when I do play a bad game, I don't think about that because I'm having fun. And that's what gaming should be. It should be about experiencing this product. And I get it, and I totally get that nowadays people don't want to waste their money. I totally get that. I do. But it's like, I'm sorry, but I'm never going to form my own opinion around a freaking review score. I'm a Sonic fan. Of course, I'm going to be, and here's another thing too, right? Even though that I'm trying to branch out, and I'm sure that you guys have noticed that, even though that I will always be considered a Sonic content creator, of course I'm going to be excited for any new. Why? Because, well, let's see. If I started covering Sonic games, that's really going to help my channel. So, duh, Sega wins, the fans win, content creators win. Everyone is happy, especially if the product is solid. That is why we gotta stop going by review scores. You know, a perfect example that shows that, you know, that review scores don't mean nothing nowadays. You had IGN that was notoriously giving Call of Duty 9s and 10s. What did they do with Pokemon Alpha Sapphire? I believe, if I remember correctly. Let me grab the old iPad here. If I remember correctly, I believe they gave it a 7. Yeah, that's right. 7.8 out of 10. Why? And if you scroll all the way down, assuming because they still have it on here, they actually removed it actually. But this was a famous meme that they gave it a low review score because of, yes, get this, too much water and too many HMs. Too much water. When I know people really love those remakes. So, anyways, you guys, that's enough of my what I like to call, get off my lawn type of rants. It just drives me off the wall when I see this crap. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me down below in the comments, and I'll see you all in my reaction video, actually. So, later, guys, and take care.